What's good? What's good, people? Cowboy Nation. Always been a good week for the Crickets, ain't it? They quiet. Ain't nobody calling us, texting us. You gotta love the peace. And as always, I do not own the right. Any music heard? Obviously, that belongs to World Wrestling Entertainment now, so we'll move that down. But I'm a huge fan of the New World Order. About the only time I ever liked Hogan as a wrestler. But Cowboy fans, man, whether you're watching live on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, or you're going to catch this later, I will be uploading this broadcast up to Facebook, the Facebook page, Talking Sports with Big L, and other platforms. So let's get to it, man. Just wanted to have a little Cowboys conversation during our bye week. Our bye week is when we are normally supposed to be getting healthy and just resting. We already had an issue with a player getting a DUI. Um, as a Cowboy fan, you gotta, you know, it was probably time for something to happen. I hate that it did happen, but hopefully this brother will learn from that and he will definitely get things together. Hopefully, it won't affect his position on the field. I'm pretty sure Roger Goodell and company is going to come for him in a little bit, maybe with a fine or something. But hopefully, that's something personally it's behind him. He won't make that mistake again. I don't really understand. Well, I guess I do, but I don't. How a lot of these teams have someone they can call at any time to come and pick them up, no matter what, no questions asked. And it comes down to these players making a better decision personally. And this is outside of football because this is something that can affect you making a decision like that to get behind the wheel after you had too much to drink or what you may feel not as too much to drink, but legally you're past your limit. That can cause a lot of trouble for you personally, can cost you some money. And as we found out, just years ago with the situation with Josh Brent, it somebody can get killed. So man, it's all about people making, you got to make better decisions personally. Um, but that is what it is. I won't call the player name out. He's probably got enough with his name being in the news and everything for right now. So what I'm gonna do now though is we're gonna move on. We're just gonna have a little quick conversation about the things going on, man. First of all, great game by the Cowboys. Great game by the Patriots as well. This past Sunday, Cowboys come out on top and get the victory, which was great. Um, we need games like that on the way. Give me just a moment here. Uh, we need games like that on the way on this ride. We do because every game can't be a blowout, and it's not going to be a blowout in this league. In the last few weeks, Cowboys have had, they've been able to blow some teams out, but the Charger game and the Patriot game, those are the two games, and that Tampa Bay game. Out of those 6 games, those 3 games should tell you how strong of a character this team has. It should be blatantly obvious to see the difference in this team this year and years past, or even last year for that matter. Um, so I just want to touch on a few things, man, that I see going on mostly in the media, because we all know how it is when it's bye week for us. They have nothing to talk about. And I mean, absolutely nothing to talk about. NBA season started. LeBron has a whole all-star and dream team together, and they still lost. But nobody's talking about that. We've got the pennant races going on. The Dodgers on the brink of elimination, which I really thought the Dodgers was going to step up and do the thing against the Braves, but the Braves seem to like they trying to write a different story this year. So, but nobody's talking about that. It's always about the Cowboys, and as Cowboy Nation, we are used to that. So I just want to touch on a few things. Um, the talking heads, and when I say the talking heads, I'm talking about the Stephen A's, the Shannon Sharps, all of these guys, the Nick Wrights, Colin Cowers, all of these guys who who call themselves experts on this game that we love called football, and experts on this team that we love called the Dallas Cowboys. The so-called experts, the talking heads is what I'm going to call them. The four-letter networks, the three-letter networks. We all know who they are. We all know who they are. You would think that they would, well, they did try with the player that I spoke of earlier who had the DUI, Kizzy, I think his name. Um, they tried to make a story out of that. They really did. But as the week goes on, and I'm sure it's they're probably saving the Dak Prescott injury for next week. I'm sure they're going to talk about it. As Dak, told in the press conference, he's going to give you something to talk about this week. I can almost bet they're saving that one for next week. This week seems to be the the clock management issue of Coach Mike McCarthy. Um, Me personally, I don't see a big deal with clock management issues. I think when we sit here as fans, and first let me say I'm not just a fan, I'm a student of the game. And I think that it would help every football fan to do that, to be a student of the game. Not just of this team, but of the game. But getting back to my point, Mike McCarthy and this clock management thing. Yes, Mike McCarthy he's the head of the snake. He's the head coach. But there's a lot of issues that go on in the course of a game. And it's easy when you're sitting there in the stadium or sitting there at home watching the game on TV to make what you think should be the call that the coach should make or that the team should make. Uh, Challenge that play or go fuss at the officials for that BS holding call. Call timeout now. We all do it. I do it. But we all have to understand it's a process. Things, he's got to talk to people upstairs. It's coming down. That clock management thing doesn't just fall on Mike McCarthy. It's the entire staff. And when you're coaching a football game, and I'm speaking from my experience as coaching the game, you're constantly thinking ahead. What just happened on the field or what's about to happen, the play that you just sent in, that's the play you thought of a few minutes ago. You see what I'm saying? You're playing to situations. No coach is perfect, not even the great Bill Belichick. No coach is perfect. No coach is going to have a defense that's going to stop every play. No coach is going to have an offense that's going to score every play. But Mike McCarthy, You might like the clock management issues, and then again, it might not be a big thing to you. To me, it's not a big thing because it hasn't cost us a game. I don't think it will. Certainly, if this team continues to play the way that we know they can play, if this team can continue to get better, that we're hoping to get better, then even against the tougher teams that we're going to face later on in the season and hopefully in the playoffs, it won't be about clock management. The biggest mistake, and when I say the issue with clock management that I have with Mike McCarthy was the Tampa Bay game, which we gave we gave Tom Brady too much time left on the clock. I can't put that on Mike McCarthy. I can't put that on the Dallas Cowboys. I can't put that on anybody. You have an opportunity to score, you score. And you hope that your defense can go out there and make a play and get to Tom Brady. Now, as we know, or if you remember, there was a big play that Brady hit a receiver over here on the left-hand side. Receiver pushed off. No call. There was no call made. But yet the big issue, the big discussion was the clock management for Mike McCarthy. Not that the officials missed that blatant call, that blatant push off that normally goes against us. So I really don't have a problem with Mike McCarthy and the clock management. So I say to Cowboy fans, these guys, these talking heads, they're trying to grab a headline at any means necessary because they have nothing to talk about. They can't say, we're winning, we're rolling, we've won 5 straight. We're one of the hottest teams, we're one of the best teams. I definitely think we are the most balanced team in the league. And they have nothing negative to say about us. About the only thing they can say negative about us is that they're sitting there waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're sitting here as fans, as students of the game, whatever we are, as diehard fans of this team. We're praying that shoe doesn't drop. And if this team can continue to play the way that they've been playing, it won't drop. Trust me, it won't drop. This team has not reached its ceiling. So don't take that bait. Don't take the bait. I know we get in discussions with each other on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. As I've said this many times before, as Cowboy fans, we argue amongst ourselves more than we do with any other people of any other fan group. So let's not take the bait of the talking heads. Let them talk. Let them try to do everything they can to get their ratings up because Cowboys are off this week. So ratings are going to drop. The ratings are going to drop this week. The way those ratings are high on Monday morning after we play, when we win and when we lose, they're going to drop this Monday. Trust me, they're going to drop. Ratings are down because there's nobody to talk about. Arizona Cardinals are 6-0, yet the only team they want to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys, which we're used to that. Stephen A. Stephen A. made his money talking about the Dallas Cowboys, not about basketball, which he was supposed to be an expert in, but talking about the Dallas Cowboys and particularly Dallas Cowboy fans, which in this story, every story needs a bad guy. Every story needs a bad guy. Stephen A. is the bad guy for us. Okay, it is what it is. Let's just go out here and win, and let's not take that bait. Let's not take the bait. Let's not start saying we're going to the Super Bowl as we normally do. Let's enjoy this ride. Let's enjoy every moment of this ride. and let's take it week by week. We're on a bye week this week, so we're just gonna chill out and let everybody fight amongst themselves. And of course, they got to bring us up every day. It's like it's in the script on every channel, every sports show, whatever. They have to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, which is a great thing. That the fact that these guys have to talk about us is a huge credit to Jerry Jones. And I know a lot of people don't like Jerry Jones. I know a lot of people say Jerry Jones meddles all the time, whatever. Jerry Jones is the ultimate businessman. The fact that all of these networks have to talk about the Cowboys, even in a bye week, even when we don't play, speaks volumes to how good of a marketing genius Jerry Jones is with the Dallas Cowboys. The fact that I'm sitting here doing a podcast, doing this video, yeah, I want to be a part of that podcast world that talks about the Cowboys. And so I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. So Cowboy Nation, do me a favor. Don't take that bait. Don't even entertain those discussions of Mike McCarthy and the clock management situations and things like that, because you really have to ask yourself, are you really that unsatisfied with Mike McCarthy? Think about that, and then think about what we've all went through the past the past 10, 11, 12 years with Jason Garrett, how the Cowboys would fumble the ball and the other team will pick it up and run it back, and Garrett will, and immediately the camera will swing over to Garrett, and he's, remember how that pissed you off? Remember that. So don't take the bait. I know it's easy to sit there and pick on Mike McCarthy and say this and that. You're 5-1, Cowboy Nation. You are 5-1. You've won 5 in a row. You've beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and you beat them like you're supposed to beat them. And the teams that were giving you the tough teams that gave you a challenge, the 3 teams that gave you a tough challenge, the Chargers, the Buccaneers, and the Patriots, you beat 2 of them. You beat 2 of them. And you should have, and we were this close to beating the 3rd one. So we've reeled off 5 in a row. We're hot. The offense is playing great. The defense is playing great. We got contributions from special teams now. Coaching, it's on that one. We're all that mighty fist. We're all together now. We got offense, defense, special teams, coaching, ownership. We're all together, and we're all coming together to make that mighty fist. So enjoy this ride, Cowboy Nation. Don't take that bait that you get from the talking heads every day. I know you're watching them. I watch them. But don't take the bait. They got to have something to talk about. They got to find some way to get the ratings up. Nobody wants to talk about the Eagles. Nobody wants to talk about the Washington football team. Nobody really wants to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. So, again, don't take the bait. We are the main event of the NFL. It's our week off, so we're going to relax. All right, so let's move on to a different topic, man. Getting healthier and getting deeper. We're in the bye week, so this is the week where we got to get healthy. So all of those guys that have those small injuries, small strains, including our quarterback Dak Prescott, this is our opportunity. This is an opportunity for them to get some much needed rest. Because you got to understand, these guys they've been going 100 miles an hour since what, June, about the middle of June. And now that we're well into the season, man, that they've been going 100 miles an hour. This is where they get to relax, stretch out, give their body some rest. This is a physical game, so your body needs that rest. And we're going to hope that these guys are going out there, being safe, doing the right thing, not making any more silly decisions, and getting that rest and recharging that battery for this long run that's coming up. Um, that brings me to Lyle Collins and Michael Gallup. Now, some people will say we don't need them. We haven't lost a step without them. Some people say we do need them. It's only going to make us stronger. I'm with those people. I think we do need Lyle Collins back, and we do need Michael Gallup back. It's great that we haven't missed a step, or not too much of a step, without those guys. It's great to see Cedric Wilson stepping up. It's great to see Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin coming up big, making big time plays. It's great to see that we don't have to just rely on CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper to catch the ball. It's great to see Tony Pollard going out there, and the drop off between him and Zeke is really not a big drop off. It's great to see Zeke back at his old self. It's great to see this offense. It's great to see Steele over there at right tackle holding his own against whoever. We have a great problem called depth on this team. We're getting deeper. And I think we were so banged up last year with injuries that it gave a lot of these young guys, an opportunity to step in and get to play. And they got to play, and they got that experience. Dalton Schultz. Remember, Blake Jarwin was the starter last year. Blake Jarwin went down in game 1 last year against the Rams, and he was gone for the season. Enter Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz made some great plays last year without Dak Prescott in the lineup. So now what you're seeing is Dalton Schultz, who was a great tight end in college. You're seeing his abilities come out. We here in Cowboy Nation, we knew about Dalton Schultz, but now we're seeing everything to come in fruition. We're seeing things come out of Dalton Schultz, and it's only a compliment that we have 2 great tight ends. Now, I'm not calling these guys Jason Witten by any means, but the fact that you can go out there with 2 tight ends, and both of these guys are decent blockers. Both of these guys are real good pass route runners and catchers. That's a great problem to have. Cedric Wilson, another great problem to have. This is truly a kid who's gotten his opportunity. Now he's stepping up. Now remember, it would normally be CeeDee Lamb in the slot, and Amari probably at the 1 and Gallup at the 2 receiver. But with Gallup going down, CeeDee has had to step up and slide over into Gallup's spot. And sometimes we see Gallup playing the number 1. I mean, not Gallup, but we see CeeDee playing in the number 1 spot, which has caused Cedric Wilson to step up and be in the slot. So now we have CeeDee, who we know can play all 3. We have Cooper, who can play the first 2 receiver spots, and he probably can step in the slot too. I think he's quick enough to do that. And now you have a Cedric Wilson, plus those two tight ends I just talked about. You still have Pollard, who can step out there and catch passes. You got Zeke catching passes. Now you throw in Gallup. Whenever Gallup can come, and we're in a position where Gallup doesn't necessarily have to rush back. Now, with this being probably a contract year for Gallup, I would think he would want to come back on that field healthy as he can and ready to contribute. Gallup, in my opinion, is our deep threat. He's the guy that can go deep. He's the burner. Now, and I think Gallup has good hands. I really do. This offense is only going to get better with Gallup out there because it's gonna be a constant rotation of pass catchers who can beat you one on one, guys who can make those tough catches if you're playing zone. You're gonna have a constant rotation. Remember, we started the season saying we got the three best receivers in the league. Okay, as we sit in our bye week right now, we're talking about those three receivers, two tight ends, and Cedric Wilson. So you got six great pass catchers out there, and then you throw Pollard and Zeke out there. That's two more. So Dak has many weapons he can go to. It's plenty of weapons he can go to on the field. All right, let's talk about Lyle Collins. Now, first let me say this. Connor Williams. Connor Williams is probably the weak spot on our line. Now the mistakes that Connor makes, yeah, it sticks out. But let's keep in mind that, and I'm not a big Connor Williams fan, I'll admit that, but let's keep in mind that Connor Williams has played pretty damn good this season. Yes, he's had some timely penalties that kind of, hurt us when we have them, but I don't think replacing him with Lyle Collins at guard would be the answer, even though we've seen Lyle Collins play left guard earlier in his career. I think Lyle Collins coming back only helps that offensive line get even more deeper. Because there's right now there's different ways you can go with this. If you put Lyle Collins out there back starting, you're really not losing a step at left tackle. But you could also run some formations where you take Steele and Lyle Collins, you put them side by side, and you get that ball to Zeke, and you just run downhill on that right side. Because on that right side, you're going to have Zach Martin, Lyle Collins, and Steele. That's a hell of a side to be running on. You can do that. Lyle Collins coming back only makes us deeper, that's what you need in a good football team. You need to be deep. You need to have that depth. So that's going to help us. That is truly going to help us. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about here, man, is the culture change in Big D. Now, let me just say that let's take a look at the games we played. Let's take a look at the Tampa Bay game. In years past, we'd have got blown off the field. We'd have made a lot of mental mistakes, and Tom Brady and Buccaneers would have blew us off the field. But that was a game where we caused plenty turnovers, and we scored plenty of points. And we were right there toe-to-toe with them. We were right there to the end. That game against Tom Brady and the Bucs was more like, Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson. Only this time, Tyson won on a close split decision. I think, my opinion only, but I personally think if we were to play the Buccaneers next week, we could beat them. I really think we could beat them if we played them next week. But we're not going to look towards the Buccaneers just yet. Our focus is going to be on the Minnesota Vikings. And I'll come back to you guys next week regarding that. We're going to talk about the matchups, things like that. But anyway, getting back to that culture change. That Tampa Bay game, we'd have got blown out. the Charger game, as many mistakes as the Chargers made, we still would have lost that game in years past. This New England game, we would have lost this game. We would have, in the past, we've been known to play down to our opponents that were less talent than we were. We've always been a team that had great talent on paper, but we've never showed it on the field consecutively or consistently. Say what you want about Mike McCarthy, good or bad, whether you like him or not. Mike McCarthy is a huge part of the culture change in Dallas right now. He's a huge part of that culture change. I know the talking heads, and here we go with the talking heads again. I know the talking heads will sit there and they will tell you that Kellen Moore and Dak run the offense. No. Kellen Moore calls the plays. But Mike McCarthy is the head coach. So decisions like when we go for it on fourth down, that comes from Mike McCarthy and his staff. So I love the fact that he's not afraid to go for it on fourth down. Think about how many times that Jason Garrett wouldn't go for it, and we felt like he should have. So I love the fact that Mike McCarthy is not afraid to go for it on fourth down sometimes. Now, would I go for it on fourth down at the 30-yard line in my own territory? Me, probably not. Him, he did it. He rolled the dice on it. But for him to roll the dice on it like that, he believes in his team a certain way. Think about it. We as fans, we're all on the outside looking in. He knows that team more than any of us. He knows that team more than any talking head on TV right now. So for him to believe in those guys like that, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. All he can do is say, let's go for it. It's up to Kellen Moore, who is the play caller, to get the play in, call the right play. And it's up to the guys on the field to execute that play and get that first down, get that short yardage, whatever it is, get that touchdown. But I do love the culture change. And I think all of us in Cowboy Nation, even the haters, I think all of us see a culture change in Dallas. We're not losing games that normally we would have lost. We're not making mistakes that we normally would have made. We're not playing down to our competition the way that we have in years past. And that's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want in a team. That culture change. I can't remember the last time we had a cornerback who we were this excited about. That wasn't Deion Sanders. That's how long it's been. And I'm not calling Diggs a lockdown corner, but I am calling Diggs a player that will make you pay if you make a mistake. I'm not saying he's Reeves Island or anything like that. He definitely ain't prime time. But if you make a mistake, you make a bad throw against this kid, he will make you pay. Just as he made Mac Jones pay Sunday. I mean, he's putting the film out there. And sooner or later, teams are going to slow up throwing at him. Because every throw that quarterback got to make towards him, it's going to have to be perfect. It's going to have to be a perfect throw. Because if it's off by just a little bit, he gonna snatch it. Diggs is a part of that culture change. Michael Parsons, he's part of that culture change. I think we've all seen the videos where the guys are having fun in the locker room. Uh, Michael Parsons being a rookie is, he's playing out of his mind. He's going out there. He's making great reads, making tackles. Him and Van Der Esch. I was worried that we were gonna defensively take that step back because Jalen Smith was gone, and Michael Parsons was predominantly playing on the edges. But I think Michael Parsons has adjusted, and I think Van Der Esch has adjusted to Jalen not being there, and those two guys are playing with a little tenacity, a little ferocity. If I said that right, anyway, and I like what I see. And going back to Diggs, what he's doing, Brown on the other side, yeah, Brown is he's still got his struggles, but he's upping his game a little bit each week. And we still got a couple of guys that's been hurt that ain't seen the field yet, and they gonna come out and they gonna be looking to eat. Our safety positions are better than they have been in probably 15 years. Well, I ain't gonna say 15, maybe 10. Our safety play is so much better this year. So much better. And that brings me to the front line of the defense. Those guys on the front line are eating. I've always said Randy Gregory was a great player. He just had off the field issues. Randy Gregory is doing the thing. He's doing the damn thing. I've always liked Randy Gregory. I've always pushed for this guy. And this guy came up big for us the other day against New England. And he's only going to get better. Yes, it's a contract year, but he is playing like he deserves that money. And considering the fact that what he's been through, and Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys have stayed with him through all this time when they could have just been washed their hands of him, Randy Gregory gonna be a bad boy. Well, he's already a bad boy, but he's only gonna get better. We're gonna get D-Law back at some point. D-Law is gonna have to come in at 100 miles an hour. Now, I know we gotta get these guys back in slowly, but we're expecting big things out of D-Law, and I think D-Law is going to start expecting big things out of himself because he sees how this defense is playing. He sees how fast and how ferocious that this defense is playing. He wants to be a part of that. Trust me, if he's a true player, and I know he is, he wants to be a part of it. So offensively and defensively, man, we've seen the culture change. Special teams. Special teams has. When the last time we ever saw a block punt by us? That was shocking. So it's definitely a culture change in Dallas, and I'm loving it. And I hope you guys are loving it too. So I know the Thursday night game is about to start. Uh, should be the Broncos and the Browns. My prediction for that game, I'm just gonna give it to you anyway. I'm thinking Denver might win that game. I don't think, I certainly know Baker Mayfield's not going to be 100%. So I'm going to look for the Broncos to take that. And I think Baker Mayfield and the Browns are in need of a bye week so they can regroup and get together and possibly make a good playoff run just as they did last year. I know a lot of expectations were for the Cleveland Browns this year, and they haven't lived up to them. But it I think they still have that potential. I'll put it that way. They still have that potential to make that good run. But I'm going to take the Broncos on that. All right. With that being said, man, like I said, just covering the points that I talked about, man. Uh, Don't take that bait from them talking heads. They just trying to dig up a story because they ain't got nothing else to talk about. Enjoy this bye week. Enjoy this entire ride, Cowboy fans. Enjoy this entire ride. Don't start looking forward to games months from now or the Super Bowl or anything. Let's stay focused on the Minnesota Vikings. At this point, let's stay focused on the Minnesota Vikings. That's all we see. That's all we care about right now. Is coming out and beating the Minnesota Vikings. Let everybody else worry about. Let the talking heads worry about what we're gonna do down the line. We're gonna take it one game at a time. Let's get off Mike McCarthy's back. Mike McCarthy is a huge, huge, huge part of the culture change in Dallas. And I think we all love the new culture change here in Dallas. Well, in Dallas, because I'm not there. All right, y'all, man. That's my time. And at the bottom of the screen, if you're watching the replay on Facebook, I want you to hit that heart icon for me. I want you to smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube channel. And I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the Facebook page. You can find both under Talking Sports with Big L. You'll see my picture. You'll see my face. I'm coming to you, bringing you this content mostly about the Dallas Cowboys, but I will be talking other sports. So please give me a little bit of support. And also set your notifications so that when I am going live, you will get that notification and you'll be somewhere where you can listen to it, watch it, whatever. As I said, I'm going to give you Cowboy Nation. I'm going to keep bringing this content to you, especially after the games. After the games, I go live on Facebook. I go live on YouTube, and we talk about everything in real time. This will probably be in a recorded mode for Facebook. And if you didn't watch today live, then you can always hit the comments in. Whether you comment on Facebook, comment on the YouTube, I will get back to you as soon as possible, man. Just give me some feedback. And as always, Cowboy Nation, it's been a pleasure talking with you guys and talking to Cowboys. As I said, this was simply just the bye week discussion. And there we go. Talking Sports with Big L right there at the bottom of your screen. That's where you can find me on YouTube and Facebook. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. I'm going to play a little outro music. I appreciate you guys giving me 45 minutes of your time. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy the game. Be easy. I'm Big L. Cowboy Nation. I'll see you next week in Minnesota. Deuces. New world order.